starting off, June has 2 children.
Yes, and 7 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. The eldest one was a bit busy.
So, were the majority of them from your son or your daughter?
My son.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, June, we all played out there today. Thank you so much for sponsoring the day, Patrons Day. Who had a good game today? I heard there's a couple there. Sue, where's Sue? Good game, another game there. So thank you so much for putting that on for us. And weather held off for us, so that was fantastic. So you've got the 2. Wow, what a family. What a family. How'd you cope there? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I only have 2 to start with.
And then they all came.
Yeah.
Now, let's dive a little bit into your golf. Obviously, you're the patron of the ladies at Gosford, which is phenomenal. When did you join Gosford Golf Club?
50 years ago, I think it was 74.
Wow, 74. Now, tell me a little bit about that. What was the course like back in the day then?
Oh, it was much different to what it is today. For instance, we had a little par 3 where the second is now, and it ran down beside the fence. One of our ladies that was in my beginner's clinic was teeing off there one day, and she put one straight over the fence and through a windscreen. She was a local dentist's wife, and she went into hysterics. We had to calm her down, and she never played again. Never.
Now, before we were having a little chat, and you were telling me about the clubhouse back then.
Oh yeah.
And that you would play 9 holes. Tell us about that story in the clubhouse.
The clubhouse was a little wooden building over where the putting green is now, the practice putting green. And our clinic played 9 holes after the field, but we weren't allowed to sit with the other ladies. We had a petition in the, we had to sit behind it. And then one day we were having a birthday amongst us, so we had a cake and we were singing happy birthday. And one of the ladies got up and said, "Why are they sitting back there?" And Val Scott, some of you might remember Val Scott, she stood up and she said, "Have you invited any of those ladies to sit with you?" And, they all said no. She said, "Well, they pay the same membership as we do, so just be kind to them." And from then on, it was a different story.
Someone stood up for you, ladies. That's fantastic. Now, the golf attire, I'm really interested in this because obviously it would have changed dramatically since when you started. What were the rules back then when you started?
We had to wear skirts, and they had to be 6 inches below the knees when you knelt. And if they looked any shorter, you'd be pulled over, and they'd measure them to make sure they were the right distance. It was awful. We weren't allowed to wear slacks, and definitely not shorts.
What about the tops? What about your shirts?
They didn't. Oh, as long as they had a collar, they didn't worry.
What about the clubs, June, the clubs that you played with? And do you remember getting your first set of clubs? Was that a proud moment?
Yes, actually, I bought them in Fiji. They were American ones, and I was just so proud of them because I had all different ones, different brands. But I was so proud of those clubs, and I had them for years.
And did you hit the ball further when you got them?
No, not really.
So it's not the clubs, it's the player. I was told that today, thanks Lauren. Now, what was your best moment on the course here? So during your golfing career here at Gosford, like pennants, or have you been club champion? What's been your best and proudest moment in your golf?
Well, I played pennants for 20 years, and the last round, I went through undefeated, so I thought, well, now's the time to retire. So I did. But I have been C grade.
Now we have a little, sometimes if we have a good game out on the course, Kieran's here so he has to block his ears, we have birdie juice. So we may have a little sly shot here and there out there when we have a birdie. Is there anything like that when you were playing, you were mentioning there was a lady that owned the stationery store up the road or something like that. Have you got any stories about that for us?
I've forgotten the lady's name, I think it's Hungerford, but she used to have her little flask and her ciggy, and at one stage there she dropped the ciggy on the ground and went up and hit a ball, teed off, and Win Hogan, who was a member here for many years, said to her, "You're not going to put that back in your mouth, are you?" And she said, "Well, where else would you put it?" And then she went on and put a ball in one of the dams. So she took her skirt off and got it into the dam and got this ball out. And then she pulled the skirt back on, took the knickers off, and they were real knickers, and put them over the cart to dry off as she walked around. As you can imagine, she was a character.
That is gold. I wish I met her and had a game of golf with her. That would have been amazing. Now, the juicy stuff again. Any scandals in the club? Come on. What have we got? Any scandals that you can let us in on?
Oh, lots to, I can't really tell many of them. But there were a lot.
They can remain nameless. No, she's too solid. She won't give anybody up. Now, June, I wanted to talk about what you've actually achieved in the club. You mentioned that you started with your husband, John, the team series. You founded that and it was operating for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
Yes, well, the CEO, who was in those days called the secretary and manager, used to work for us, was Alan Parsons. And he applied for the job here and John said, "Go for it, mate." So he did, and then he came around a couple of years later and said, "Look, the club's in financial strife. Could you help us out?" And he said, "In what way?" And he said, "Well, I've thought about this series that we could run and get people into the club for a weekend because there was no one here of a Sunday. People used to just go home after golf." So we started it up, we ran it for 10 years, the three series, and it was very successful. The last one we would have a cabaret night, and it was fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah. Some of them remember it.
Oh, that's amazing. There's obviously lots of ladies here, and I did touch earlier on the friendship, but can you just elaborate for everyone here? I've made so many friends myself, and it's such a tight group here at the Gosford Golf Club, but the friendships that you have made throughout your golf career here, what has that meant to you?
Oh, a lot, most of them. Their husbands as well. We would all go away on holidays and have nice nights at the golf club. Actually, when they first built this club, we had poker machines all down the side, and we used to have Friday night was bowlers night, indoor bowling, and they were terrific nights. They'd have a raffle and everyone would be in it, and the restaurant was the little one on the corner there, and you'd have to book in it week by week to get in there on a Friday or Saturday night. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Now, Deb, I think you had a question for June as well.
Yes. Now, everyone close your ears. June, this is a really tricky question. But who is your favourite president?
Not you, Deb.
Well, I think we've learned a lot from June today, and we're so grateful and honoured to have you here. And on behalf of Gosford Golf Club, and I'm sure on behalf of Kieran, thank you so much for what you have done in the past for the club and what you will continue to do in the future. And I really want to have a game of golf with you, and I cannot wait for that.
No, I can't.